On that debate tonight, joining me from Delhi, Suhel, Seth, V. Krishnaswamy, senior sports writer and commentator, Michael Ferreira, former world billiards champion, Satynath Sarangi, well-known social activist, especially on the issue of Bhopal, Tarlochan Singh, vice president of the Indian Olympic Council, Aslam Sher Khan, former Olympian, hockey captain of India, and Meredith Alexander, head of trade and corporates at ActionAid UK and one of the commissioners of the Commission for a Sustainable London 2012. She's taking a strong position on it. That is the point indeed. My first question to Meredith Alexander. Miss Alexander, you have resigned from the Games Ethics Committee, and with your resignation, this whole debate over Dow has been sparked off all over again. What would you like to see the Indian government do?
Well, what I would really like to see is I would like to see justice done for the victims of Bhopal. I know that I don't need to remind your viewers that over 20,000 people died in the aftermath of that gas leak, that the site still isn't cleaned up, and people have no choice but to drink water that they know to be poisoned. So really, the most important thing is what happens to the victims, the survivors, and the families of those who died in the tragedy.
But what about why have you resigned from the Games Ethics Committee? We've had some comments that have come in from the organizers saying that, you know, the real question is that the Indian government got the money and they must now do the clean-up act at the site.
I think that the responsibility lies on both parties. When the company bought Union Carbide, they bought the toxic legacy of the Bhopal tragedy, and the company cannot escape that legacy. Again, your viewers will know better than I that there are ongoing court cases in India, as well as ongoing court cases in the United States, that Union Carbide and Dow Chemicals has not answered. And it must be the company that takes primary responsibility, because it was the company that allowed this leak to take place.
Now, Satynath Sarangi, Paul Dighton, London 2012 chief executive, says there's been a total settlement of the liabilities. And the real question is, he says, what happened to the money that Dow paid? And what is India doing in terms of its responsibility to clear up that site? Is he completely wrong?
Now, I think
no, Satynath Sarangi, I'd like Mr. Sarangi to take that.
Yeah, first of all, Dow Chemical has paid no money at all. Yeah, the Indian government asked for a small amount of money, which is $22 million, to start cleaning up the place. Dow hasn't given that. Union Carbide paid a paltry amount of compensation, which was just $470 million for more than 500,000 people. All of that money has been distributed. There's no money. Government is holding none of Union Carbide's money. The point is that money was so small, it wasn't even 93% of the victims got just $500, 25,000 rupees. That's all. And people are, now there's a curative petition through which the government is asking $1.2 billion from Dow Chemical and Union Carbide.
So what do you want?
Dow
what are you seeking? That we boycott the Olympics?
Exactly. We are saying that the protest notes have done nothing. That Meredith's resignation should move the Indian government, at least even if it moves just 10% of how Meredith has been moved. The government would today say Indians will not participate so long as this criminal corporation is allowed to sponsor. This corporation that has killed our people and is still making...
Well, on this program, Satynath, a few weeks back the sports minister told you, I will not let the people of Bhopal down. Today, all I heard from the sports ministry was that the decision whether or not to boycott the Olympics is a decision that cannot be taken by the sports ministry alone. Suhel, say, how can you, as a proud and responsible Indian, have the Indian team go through the inaugural ceremony at the London Olympics under the shadow of a company that refuses to pay the slightest of deserving compensation to the Bhopal gas victims?
Arnav, there are 3 or 4 large issues, and you know, we often cloud reality with emotion. So let's address those issues logically. Number one, the Indian government, your government, my government, agreed to a paltry settlement, as Satynath very rightly said, of $470 million. Why on earth didn't they ask for more? Why are you now passing the problem to London, to the Olympic Committee? Why are you making Meredith, and she is a hero for many, but why are you making her the signpost of change that you wish to bring about in the minds of the Indian government?
No,
Issue number 2, no sponsorship, and you know this better than I do, no sponsorship changes happen overnight. So to expect the London Olympic Committee to sacrifice an entire games is expecting a bit too much of them.
Why should we care whether they should sacrifice the games? We should care about our interests. Under American law, Suhel, under American law, the merger between Dow Chemical and Union Carbide means that Dow Chemical must inherit all of the liabilities, civil and criminal, of Carbide. This means that Union Carbide's pending criminal liability in the Bhopal District Court is included, which it has successfully managed to escape.
But Arnav, we live in India, so while we experience the sentiment and we understand and empathize with the emotion, the reality is our government settled the deal. You know, Dow Chemicals wasn't in the picture.
There is a legal wrangle over it.
Now shame Dow Chemicals is what we need to worry about. And today there are enough options to shame a corporation which does not believe that spending $22 million in cleaning up their toxic inheritance would go a long way. So
doesn't
it is
agree
Dow
with
Chemicals
you.
that needs to be shamed, not the London Olympics Committee.
Okay, would any of our panelists today, Satyanath or Meredith, who's both in disagreement, I presume, with what Suhel is saying, want to have a quick rebut? Go ahead, Satyanath. You want a quick rebut to Suhel before I take the debate forward?
Yeah, first of all, the settlement did not cover at all the issue of ongoing contamination, the contamination that is today giving rise to birth defects from the victims. It was not covered by the settlement at all, to start with.
That's a good point. My question to the Indian Olympic Association Vice President, Mr. Tarlochan Singh.
It's not a good point. Arnav.
Why?
Arnav, 1 minute. It's a real point that Satyanath has made. So the question that begs to be asked is, the people who applied their puny little minds on this settlement, didn't they realize that they had to plan for the future impact and the effects of toxicity?
Why should I pay the price for the mistakes, for the unforgivable mistakes made by other people? I would ask that this is a company which denies any responsibility for Bhopal.
The Dow Chemical statement.
This same company, Suhel, allow me to complete, has taken over liability for Carbide for fighting out over 75,000 asbestos-related lawsuits in the United States. They care for United States. They don't give a damn for our own country, and that's the point tonight that needs to be made. Mr. Krishnaswamy, do you have a defense to that? No, Mr. Krishnaswamy, let's make our point.
You know, let me tell you, I mean, the Suhel has said a few things, Satyanath has said a few things, Meredith has said a few things, but you know, nobody's actually mentioned the athletes. They spend a good part of their lives training to attain their ultimate dream, that is to compete at the Olympics. Now, when they get in there, you know, it does not take just 4 years, it takes an athlete's lifetime. 8 years, 12 years, he or she starts from the age of 8 or 10, and by the time they reach 20, that's the time for them to go to the Olympics. You're not going to take it away.
What about the children? What about the children born with deformities in Bhopal?
Of the government, please, Arnab, please listen me out first. You know, for the incompetence of the government, as it might seem to be, you are going to penalize the athletes. That means you are also going to penalize an entire generation of sportspersons who, say, 4 months before the Olympic Games, are still not sure whether or not they are going. So when they come back, we'll also start saying that they don't win medals. And then we'll say we are a nation of 1.2 billion people and we bring back a paltry 3 medals or 2 medals. So you're putting the entire onus on the athletes. Now you are trying to fire from the shoulders of the athletes who have spent an entire lifetime trying to reach the pinnacle of their achievement. Now I will tell you a few more things.
I don't know quite the gold rush. I don't see the gold rush that you claim is going to happen at the Olympics.
No, it does not claim a gold rush. But the point is, when they get to the Olympics, it's also the pinnacle of their achievement. It's the biggest stage that they're going to go for.
Which side are you on, Michael Ferreira?
Imagine a Virender Singh or a Sushil Kumar, an Abhinav Bindra, a Gagan Narang, a Saina Nehwal, a Leander Pace. They all have medal chances.
Aslam
Sher Khan. Rob them of that.
Aslam Sher Khan has represented
many
the country.
Athletes, they live the Olympic dream.
Let's get
an entire sports community lives for the Olympic dream, and you're going to take it away from them because your government government is incompetent or because your government doesn't want to take a stand. Don't fire from the shoulders of the athletes. Please stop that.
I'm not firing over the shoulders of the athletes, but I would like to fire over Aslam Sher Khan's shoulders. Aslam Sher Khan, you won medals for this country.
Yeah, Aslam Sher Khan has been to an Olympics before. What about the athletes who've never been to an Olympic Games?
I haven't been to an Olympic Games. You cannot deny me the right to have an opinion on it, Mr. Krishnaswamy. Aslam Sher Khan, where do you stand?
No, I do allow you to have an opinion on it.
Hello?
But at the same time, I'm saying, what about the rights of the athletes who are qualified for the Olympics?
Why did you tell Mr. Krishnaswamy to allow others to speak?
Okay, Aslam Sher Khan.
Krishnaswamy ji, Arnab, we also worried about the athletes, particularly the players who were training for the Olympic Games for long, and they have a dream to play the Olympic Games. Fine, but you can think about if this thing happened by chance, by any way, by deliberately or non-deliberately, any incident of that level of Bhopal gas tragedy isn't happening by the Indian company in United States or in London, in Britain. Either these people can take so lightly about that.
That's true.
The whole question is because of the Indians, they feel that the Indian people are so soft. The Indian people can't put pressure. You see, when the drilling of the oil was spilled in America, Barack Obama gone after their neck of that industry, this oil industry, that they need $billions for their, because the fishes are dying or some animals are dying or people can die. But in Bhopal, the 25,000 died instantly, and 1 lakh people injured very badly, and half a million people gone on the road and running around here, and they got injured, and we talking about so many things, you know, like. Because this is the time India have to prove that they have the backbone, they have a morality, and they have a courage to take this cause to the Olympic Organizing Committee, even the International Olympic Committee. So that is the question. It's not a question of legalities and here and there.
Let me get everyone in, Suhel, before I bring you in.
Gas tragedy.